What up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up? Welcome to the No Life Digital Podcast. I am your host, Wayne, back for another week. Tons and tons to talk about. Not so much news, but we got to talk about Star Wars. A new Star Wars game has come out. And there's also a new Star Wars show that has come out that I want to get into. We talk about Pokemon. The new Pokemon series has a new installment. Shut up! Can you close my door? Thank you. And yes, new Star Wars show and a new Pokemon installment in their new, I don't know. Is it a new series? I don't really know. We have some news to talk about. We got Game of the Year award nominees to chat about, and then we have Game of the Year. Hello, Kate, and we have the MacBook Pro 2016, which has just released to chat about, and that should be it. So we should have a full show for you today. Let's get into it. What is up, co-hosts? What's going on?
What up?
What's up? What's up? All right, let's jump into it then.
He knows he's muted, right?
Oh, is he muted?
I am muted.
What's up, Jerry?
I see the lips moving. I hear nothing.
It's going.
All right. Do you guys have anything to talk about before we jump into the show? I don't really have much. Same old, same old.
I know life the hell of this weekend with Pokemon and just Star Wars.
Yeah. Did you beat Star Wars?
I'm near the end. I did have the ending spoiled for me because we'll get into some of the stuff I found, but when it comes to speedrunning, I've already found some glitches and skips. Just playing the game.
Lots of glitches, lots of skips. We'll get into that. Pokemon, I also played Pokemon. I got it. And I'll talk about that. My opinions
that's now relegated
Pokemon.
to my in-bed game.
Pokemon or Star Wars?
Oh, Pokemon.
Oh, okay.
It's the game I play right before bed.
Yeah. All right, well then let's just fucking jump into it. Let's start off with Star Wars, because I feel like we're going to have a lot more to talk about with Pokemon. Star Wars, you guys know me. I'm the biggest Souls fan. I love them all. I play all of them. The latest one I was playing was Code Vein. Before that was the Surge, the newest Surge. Then, Sekiro this year is probably my game of the year. Probably my game of the last 5 years. Huge Souls fan. So when I heard that Respawn, the guys who did Titanfall, the guys who did Apex, we love Respawn. When we heard that they were going to create a Star Wars single-player action game, and it was set as a Souls-like, I couldn't contain my excitement. Definitely more hype. Possibly more hype for Star Wars than I was for Death Stranding. That said, it is out. I played it, and I will say the hype, for me at least, has the hype has hit its mark. Like,
Mom,
I think the hype of the game has been like satiated. Like, I'm satiated by it. I've been having a blast with this game. I haven't had many other performance issues that other people have had. I'm playing on PC, so that hasn't spoiled anything. I love the characters. I love the set design. The movement is best in class, best movement in any Souls game. There are some flaws, but overall, I've just been having a blast. I just got to Dathomir, so I haven't finished the game. I've been trying to take it as slowly as possible. I don't want it to end. Playing it on the hardest difficulty, which you have to. I think if you're playing it on anything less than the hardest difficulty, it's a little bit of an easy experience, at least when you compare it to like Sekiro and Dark Souls. I found it was just like, for instance, the first boss that a lot of people get stuck on, and there's threads about it everywhere, is that frog dude in the first level. His name is like Ago Bobdo or something. Here, I have some footage I can put up for you guys too.
Yeah, I died a ton to that guy.
Yeah, so that's the first one you encounter, and I was like, okay, I encountered him first. I tried it out maybe about 10 to 15 times, died every time, and I was like, maybe I just need to come back to it. Finish the level, then I come back to it, and then I was able to beat him pretty easily, and it was like, is this really going to be like the hardest part of it? But I will say, you crank the difficulty level up all the way to the top notch. Not Jedi Master, but whatever is above that.
Grandmaster.
Grandmaster, yeah.
And mind you, I'm playing on Jedi Master only because with the exception of Code Vein, like that's my only Souls-like experience.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a good level. That's a good way to start. I will say the difference between Jedi Master and Grandmaster is pretty great because the parry window is very, very small with Grandmaster. You have to parry correctly like you do with Sekiro, which I find really satisfying. So I crank it up. I go through the levels. I try to find every little hidden shortcut, every path. I try to get all the different things. I haven't found any lightsaber colors, though. And I know they're out there.
So from what I've looked up on that front is I'm at the point in the game where you can access them. They're hidden underneath like the temple.
Ah.
When you do there's a
have
certain like thing with like a lightsaber part where you do a thing with a lightsaber. You go to a specific planet. They're underground. You unlock all the colors. Orange is restricted to that like pre-order bonus,
yeah. I have the orange
which I
one.
have.
The orange one's sick, but I want like pink. You know what I mean? I want like those neon colors. I haven't found any. I haven't gotten to that point yet.
Purple.
Yeah. I'm definitely that type of color lightsaber.
So I will say, like, when it comes to, like, we compare it to Souls, it's actually like that's only one part of the inspiration. It does feel like it drew a ton of inspiration from Sekiro,
Yeah,
from Metroid Prime. Mainly that holograph map got me screaming like Metroid Prime 1's map all over again.
Yeah.
Just the different levels.
Yeah, there's nothing like that in Sekiro or
Some
even really Dark Souls.
Some people say it's short. Other people said the game's long. I think it's an inflated long only because it has that classic backtracking, unlike a Sekiro in those games where you teleport between meditation circles or bonfires. You can't do that. And I totally understand why. It doesn't make any sense for you to do that in the Star Wars universe. Teleportation is not a thing. But it does make the game kind of a backtracky thing sometimes. When you get lost, you can get really lost.
Oh, yeah.
Which is just like Metroid Prime.
Just like Souls. There's been many times I see people, this might be their first Souls experience, and there's many times where you get to a point where you find an area in the map that you probably shouldn't have found at that point in time, and you slug through it, and then you can, at least in the Souls game, they reward you for that. In this game, unfortunately, you're just kind of stuck, and you might have to restart, or you just got to go backwards, which is a little unfortunate. But there has been some times where I've explored areas that I knew I shouldn't have been in. Maybe you needed a certain power to get there, and I was able to get that chest or whatever was there, which was pretty cool.
I'm actually like super interested to see in terms of speedrunning, because I do like, I'm interested in that kind of aspect, and I'm hoping that Respawn eventually does release a patch to give us cutscene skips, because as far as it stands right now, there's unskippable cutscenes, and it's actually about 3 hours worth of them.
Yeah,
which is it's in a speed run. I think the current like only run I've seen is about 6 hours. Half of the run is just cutscenes.
That makes sense.
That's kind of rough. It's kind of rough. Like when half of the thing is just downtime. Which is not what you want in a speedrun. Respawn is a good developer. They actually have supported Titanfall speedrunning in the past. So I'm hoping they will listen and eventually put that in, or a New Game Plus or something.
Yeah.
Because that's what the game really doesn't have right now. It doesn't have a New Game Plus.
Yeah. I kind of want to see a lot of like that end game stuff, New Game Plus. I want to see like mods. I want to see what the mod community is going to do with the game. I don't know.
There's been talk of them like modding the cutscenes out, but
yeah. Or like let me play as like Luke Skywalker or Anakin or Han Solo or something.
Yeah. For me, the game shines brightest at its combat.
Yeah. See, I would agree with you there to an extent. The combat is awesome, like especially when you get into like I'm fighting here one of the sisters, and like when you're fighting up against one-on-one with like a formidable opponent and you're trying to do tricks and get her down, those battles become so fun, man. They just become so. It's just like it reminds me of Sekiro when you fight like these
learning
epic
the parrying
bosses.
And everything. Like you learn the timing, you learn the pattern.
Yeah, it's just so satisfying, and then you add the difficulty level on top of it, so that reward just gets greater and greater every time you lose. But I do think the movement here, just the overall movement, is so good, man.
I think movement's not bad. There is enough platform platforming jankiness that it puts it behind the combat. And I'm specifically mean ice slides. Ice slides and ropes can kind of screw themselves because there are times where I can't, like, I'm turning, like, I'm moving the character over, but he just slides right off the ice path. Or I jump and the rope is right there and it will not grab it. It just breezes right through it and dies.
You know, I'm actually wondering if this is a console experience. I haven't had any issues like that, but I have heard people have had issues of like wall runs not registering, like you said with the ropes and stuff. I haven't seen any of that. I'm also, mind you, I'm near 100 frames per second. I mean, this is probably the best case scenario for this game. And I have been hearing there's been a lot of issues on console.
I'm on the old PS4. So I've had those problems. I've had problems where like I'll be running into a new area and the game will just straight up like not freeze, but like I can tell it's loading because my character just stops moving. The graphics kind of just blur out. And it takes maybe about 20 seconds before it loads everything up.
20 seconds?
It can be long.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
get it for PC, I guess.
Loading upon dying is about 30 to 40 seconds.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's
you just don't die.
Yeah,
and I've had one
Yeah.
I had one issue on the planet Kashyyyk where like I'm on the elevator going up and then there's like this planned battle where it's like 2 droids, 4 stormtroopers, there's some Wookiees fighting with you, and then when you kill the group, an ATST shows up. I loaded into that area, and when I loaded into it, the AI was completely broken.
Was everyone just like not moving?
They were just standing there.
Yeah, I heard this is a thing on console.
So I slayed them, and then the ATST showed up, and then everything resumed. But it was just a really weird glitch.
Yeah, I heard about that.
It's definitely. I'm wondering if we're just at that point now with these games where like it's pushed the PS4 just way beyond its limit at this point. It needs a PS5 or a PC.
Yeah, I mean,
I heard the Pro runs better.
It's easily
but
one of
the
the
PS4
best.
definitely is struggling now to play these games.
I mean, in terms of graphics, I think it's easily one of the best graphics I've seen today.
Oh, everything looks beautiful. The planets look fantastic.
The animations, the faces. I mean, Grease, like when you're running at like above 60 frames per second and you see Grease and you have, subsurface scattering going on his skin, you have bloom, you have that subtle motion blur that they do really well. It looks so good. I haven't seen a game look this good.
I've watched people play it. I've watched people play it with the frame, like the FPS uncapped, and it like just looks like it runs so much better than the PlayStation.
Yeah, and I was thinking about getting it for Xbox. Good thing I didn't, because I heard there was a lot of issues.
I don't know if it's just the fact that it's maybe unoptimized, or if we're just at that point where they don't.
I think it's a bit of both.
Pushing the hardware too hard.
I think it's a bit of both, because I do get stuttering like when you get into those loading areas. It's 2 seconds. It's not 20 seconds. But I do get that stuttering.
This is a game I would easily would put the time and effort while I have the game to play on the SSD.
Oh yeah.
I would throw it on my SSD, and then when I'm done the game, of course, remove it off of there.
Yeah.
But like just the loading issues alone, like that's one of the things. Like with the PS5, we'll have the SSD, so things should load better.
I mean, even on PC version, you die, you're going to get a loading screen, and it is, abrupt.
I have enough time to check Twitter.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me, because like
you're going to be dying a lot.
Yeah, but like I was impressed with the PC port. You know what I mean? Just because like I haven't played it yet, but like even on Steam, it's at 60%. Or not 60, it's at 90% like recommended. Like no one's bitching about it.
The game is don't get me wrong. But
I mean, like the PC port
issues.
The PC port, no one's bitching about it. I'm super impressed.
Yeah, no, it's been good on PC.
I definitely feel like I should have bought it on PC at this point.
Yeah, that sucks.
Part of me is like, I don't want my PS4 to kind of like just go to waste. But at this point, like,
you fucked yourself on that one.
I really should stop buying games that come out on PC and PS4 and just buy them on PC at this point.
I mean, you have a
they're
1080
running better on them,
and you have a 1080. You have like
best in class. I mean, there's some games I've bought on PC. Like I'm gonna buy Sekiro on PC.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Which, mind you, this game's combat it really has me now craving Sekiro.
Yeah, I mean, it makes me like appreciate Sekiro more because
Black Friday.
the combat in Sekiro is so refined. I mean, it's just perfected. I've never played a game that where you every move that you make and you fail on, it's like, damn, I shouldn't have done that. It's never, God damn it, it stuttered here, or the animation didn't finish. It's every single time you're just like, fuck, why did I
That's
attack
the
at
thing
that
with this
animation?
game that is, I think, is like kind of prepping me for Sekiro, where it's like there are no stats.
Mm-hmm.
You were just, it's you in the game.
Yeah. And I'm happy
How
they did
good
that.
are you at the gameplay?
I'm happy they did that. I love it though. I mean, I can't say enough good things about it. If Sekiro didn't come out this year, this would be up there, right, for Game of the Year for me, because I love the character of Cal Chuchesta. What is his fucking name? I forget his
Cal
name.
something.
Cal Chuchesta. But I love him. I love Cameron Mahonigan from Shameless. I think he's a great actor and he does a great job here. He
And they
kind of
did a
starts
good
off.
job.
Go ahead.
They did a good job with the story too, like
Yeah.
where we're placing this in a certain time period, but it doesn't feel like it's forced. It doesn't feel like it doesn't live in this world. Because then you have like a bunch of like things where you have like what's the guy's Saw from Rogue One, where in that movie you didn't really see much of him. You kind of knew he was a guerrilla fighter, but you kind of just see him, and then
Oh,
it's like,
yeah.
oh, and then he dies. In this one, it's like, oh, we get to see some of Saul while he was a fighter.
Mm-hmm.
You get to expand on these characters that we've already met in the past in these other mediums, like that one. There's the sisters that were featured on the Rebels cartoon, so they have a presence in the Star Wars universe already, and they feel natural.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the writing is great. I've just really been enjoying it. It's just such a fun game to play. And I'm gonna admit, I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan, right? I'm not that diehard Star Wars guy. I didn't grow up watching Star Wars. I only got into Star Wars much later in my life because it was a popular thing, and I figured why not check it out. So I didn't really have like that. I don't have like that nostalgic connection to it, except from this and then with the Mandalorian, dude. I'm just like, Jesus, we're in a good time for Star Wars because this game is great. It's a great fucking game. Performance issues aside, get it on PC. I'm sure they'll patch it. Respawn is great at optimizing and patching things. It just seems like there's such a disparity between the original PS4 and the top of the line hardware and PC. It's hard to make them all kind of click, but I'm sure they'll get there,
Even with the jank, even with the some of the performance issues on the old PS4, still I'm having so much fun with the game, and there's never been a point in the game where I've gone, I'm not looking forward to combat.
Yeah.
I'm always looking forward to combat.
Yeah. And that was another thing about Sekiro that I loved. You would go to these areas that you knew were like a side area, and you knew you were going to encounter some shit that you probably aren't equipped to deal with, but you felt confident enough in your skills to go forth, and you were rewarded with that. And you do get that here. It's not as exploration heavy as Sekiro is, but there are areas where you're like, okay, I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to get the double-edged lightsaber out and start swinging away.
Which I'm saying, if you're going to play the game, if you're just picking the game up, don't be afraid to go to Scary Planet first really quickly. It's totally worth it.
Yeah.
Totally worth it. When I got that, I was like, yo, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some...
But
yeah, I would also recommend that you upgrade either your health or your force all the way up quickly, and then get all like the combat stuff later, because most of the time you're just pressing, you're just parrying and pressing square, but once you start to get the hang of it, then you can get those upgrades, and then you can start to string together some really cool combos, lace them together with like shooting back light what are they called, the gunshots or arrows from other people, and it's just, you just feel fucking badass once you start to get the hang of the combo system.
Yeah, I'll say that the game is like, it's good. It's a good game. I want them to develop it further. I'm hoping that it does well enough to warrant a sequel or another game in the style. Even if it's not a direct sequel, even if it's like, we're still gonna make this same style of game, but new main character, or whatever, or new set in a new setting, whether it's like old Star Wars, whatever. I would love to see it expanded more. More boss fights, honestly. It kind of doesn't have enough really great boss fights, like against the sisters
Yeah, I want
or
boss
something like
fights
that.
like that.
Like they're good, but like I know that like Sekiro was loaded with a ton of them.
Yeah.
And this one, it feels like they're important, but they're only like once in a while, and the game does feel a slightly inflated in length because of backtracking.
Mm-hmm.
I wish that there was a way, even if it's post game, to make backtracking a little less tedious. But like I said, these are just nitpicks. These are things I would like to see them in a Fallen Order 2 to kind of just build upon and make that jump from a good game to like the fantastic, great 9.5, 10 out of 10 game.
Yeah, I think this is the best way to make a Star Wars game for sure.
It's the best Star Wars game this decade. That's easy, hands down.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's my favorite Star Wars game that I've played since KOTOR, and it might be better than KOTOR.
I mean, I was actually talking to some people about this. Like, you look at that game, the Star Wars franchise from 02 to like 06, between KOTOR, Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy, Jedi Academy 2, Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy, the first one,
Yeah,
Empire War. There was a ton of really good Star Wars games from 02 to 06.
Oh yeah, and I think this is better than all of them.
Since then, it's been a 13-year drought of kind of crap.
Yeah, they've been trash, and I like the Battlefront ones, but it's not. It's not a story. It's just sort of like, we're just shooting around, and it's fun. But this to me is the best Star Wars game that I've played. And yeah, I want to see where they go with it. I want to see where they take it, how they upgrade it. But I definitely think they have to stick with this sort of Souls-like system because it just fits Star Wars so well.
Well, what was the best Star Wars game before KOTOR?
Shadows of the Empire?
Nah, Jedi Academy.
Well, Jedi Academy, yeah, of course. Like I said, that 02...
kind of. I mean, it's not a Souls game, but like getting back to that first person, like you're kind of a badass, but you have hard, difficult battles, and you can still do some weird multiplayer. Mm-hmm. Like that's what I miss from. Yeah, I missed that entirely from Star Wars.
That was one of the things that Sekiro that I heard a lot about Sekiro is this game really makes you feel like you're actually in a sword fight.
Oh yeah.
And Star Wars Jedi powers are cool, but like at the end of the day, what do you want to do most? Wield a lightsaber and take part in some badass sword fights.
Yeah. Yeah, like I was saying, you don't really use your force powers that much. Like you go in there with your lightsaber and that's it. Like sometimes you can string together combos with your forces, but for the most part, it's just you and your fucking lightsaber.
One of my favorite clips was somebody did the force push into force pull into force push. Just like throw him off the ledge, bring him back, and then throw him off the ledge again. Why you got toyed with my man like that?
Yeah, I'm almost done with it. I'll probably beat it in the next day or so. And then I will be sad because this was such a great game. I do wish it was longer. I wish it was bigger. It's not a 10 out of 10. It's, I would say, near a 9 out of 10 for now.
It's a great first entry into this world, into this design. And now that they have essentially the framework for it, build upon that framework, make a game with a ton of different planets and a ton of different boss fights and less backtracking.
Yeah. I didn't mind the backtracking. Wait till you play Sekiro.
I mean, that's what that backtracking really comes into play when you're just trying to get everything and you unlock new abilities, which is that Metroid, that classic Metroid, like, now you've got double jump, now you can swim,
mm-hmm.
Now you go to the other planets that have, like, progression unlocked. And I will say that unlocking ship colors for doing all of that work is a little... I wish there was something else. I wish there was something I could, like, actually use.
Yeah, I wish you could get more different outfits or ponchos or...
Because ponchos are, I mean, outfits are like, meh, but they all just feel like just straight up like color schemes.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah, give me
why can't I get like,
ponchos.
give me a hat?
Yeah.
Or like, give me some, I mean, the lightsaber parts are cool, but
mm-hmm.
like, give me some like, give me like the handle from like Count Dooku where it's like that curved handle where it's almost like a saber, like a fencing saber.
Mm-hmm.
Throw me some like really interesting lightsaber designs where it actually changes maybe how you fight. Like where different lightsabers have different fighting styles.
I will say
that is actually, I think that's probably the best argument too, though, because what I have noticed from this game is if you go to Disneyland and you go to the Star Wars exhibit, you have a larger selection of bullshit lightsabers you can make than are available in this game.
Oh yeah, no, and don't get me wrong, like some of them look really cool, but at the end of the day, it's just lightsaber. Whereas like
you don't get like a
Jedi
different
always
type of
have
lightsaber,
yeah, like I would love to have like fighting styles in the sequel.
Oh yeah, that'd be
Whether
awesome.
it be a fencing style with its own skill tree, or the like almost like a great sword style where it's just any kind of different style of saber, even if it's like a curved lightsaber, like a light scythe.
Well, what they need to do is Respawn. Well, what's going to happen is I think this game is going to sell well. It's getting good reviews. It's probably going to win some awards. Disney needs to give Respawn some of their resources, a lot of their resources, make them build out a bigger team. EA, same thing. Give Respawn more money. Maybe bring in some guys from to help with the like the style mechanic which is what Sekiro does so well. And then let's get this going, man. Let's refine it. Let's get a Sekiro Star Wars, because Souls didn't start out as Souls, right? It started out as this weird sort of amalgamation of projects, and then it went into Sekiro, which I think is the best form of the Souls game. This can go down the same route. They just need the money and they need to put the work in, which I think they should, because I think financially it's going to benefit them. I think the people are really going to enjoy this game if you get it on PC. Don't get it on console.
No, I was gonna say it seems like it's doing well. The reviews are really well, and like honestly, the biggest reason why I'm most interested in it is, I mean, it looks fun, but this is the highest AAA title I've seen on Steam peer review wise in months.
Yeah, that's cool.
This year almost, probably. Like it's actually above a 90% on Steam. That doesn't happen with AAA games.
Yeah, man. Respawn, you guys are doing some good shit. So
Respawn, between the Titanfall series, the stuff they're doing recently with Apex, some things are slightly flawed, but in general, doing great work.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, this is I would say their best game so far.
Until Titanfall 3.
Yeah, well, for sure. Until whatever else they come out with, because they just keep.
I think it's ironic, actually, that I mean, don't get me wrong, wall running makes sense in Star Wars, but wall running is also like, when I think Respawn, I think wall running, and the only game to have wall running is Apex.
Yeah. That
actually could really benefit to having that as a mechanic.
Yeah, that's true. I will say too, it's like, you don't see EA's, at least I don't see EA's footprint anywhere in this game, which is a good thing. I think EA is starting to take that criticism, because they've been, I think that phone call from Disney kind of said something to them. Oh, yeah, probably. I mean, I haven't seen it. There's no microtransactions. It's only single player.
You go back and remember when they announced this game in 2018, it was that weird, awkward interview in the crowd.
Yeah.
They didn't have a form. It wasn't even formal at all. It was like, yeah, we're working on a single player Star Wars game. The title is called Fallen Order.
And everyone was just like,
see you then.
Awesome?
Everyone was like, that was weird.
They were like, awesome.
And then it turns out to be this great, but
because I don't want to say
surprise hit.
It had the Battlefront thing going on. So people were like, are you really going to do another fucking Star Wars game? But then they said single player. So we were like, okay, well, how are they going to fuck this up? And now it's
Single player story driven.
Yeah, now it's here. I think this game is going to do big numbers. It's only going to increase the Star Wars fan base even more. I mean, it's a good move for them overall. Let's hope they don't fuck up the second one, because that's usually their move. They bring in on the first one, then they release the second version, and it's dog shit. All right, so that's Star Wars. Highly, highly, highly recommend you check it out. It's a blast. Now, moving on to Doobie's Game of the Year, Pokemon.
No, it's not my game of the year. Not my game of the year. Not even close to my game of the year. I enjoyed it, but not my game of the year.
All right, let's hear what you have to say about it.
It doesn't matter. It's going to win Game of the Year anyway.
This is going to fall very much into almost some of my feelings with Jedi Fallen Order. In general, I think it's a good game. Just like Jedi Fallen Order, I think they're good games that have some flawed problems to them, but they are great entry points into what could be a good future if they move forward properly. So with that being said, Pokemon
That sounds like a whole lot of justifying to me.
Yeah, it's like a 20-year-old game has a great future if they start this new game right.
I think the wild area and the free camera, I think it's a great idea, and if they build upon it, it could be great. But in this game, it's only an entry point.
In this game, it's trash. I hate it. It's
if you
so
play
dumb.
online in that wild area, good luck with your 2 FPS.
Oh yeah, is it that bad?
You can't you can't play online in the wild area if you want any semblance of stable frame rate.
Oh, that's
if you even want 20 frame rate.
That's disappointing.
Yeah, that sucks. That's sad. Who the fuck is playing Pokemon online, like to go into a wild area?
Dude, this hardcore Pokemon community that's sending out death threats.
That was one of the big selling points they were trying to sell, is do these max raid battles with other people. And if you want to do that, you have to go through a 2 FPS area. It's simple as that.
All right,
that's dumb, but I see what you're saying now. I didn't ever consider that as a selling point personally, I guess.
I will say the designs of the new Pokemon are all freaking fantastic. They are some of the best designs they've had. They are really great new Pokemon. The story, I mean, when has the story for Pokemon ever been great? It's a basic story, is what it is. The end game is where the best story is. The best characters are in the end game. I enjoyed some of the Pokemon like the gym leaders. They were enjoyable characters for the brief interactions you get to have with them. As far as easiness, I mean, if you rush through it and you don't play it properly, you could be underleveled, but the game gives you pretty much any opportunity to say, hey, you got this Pokemon, no matter what level it is, you can easily get it to be overleveled if you really wanted to try. Definitely not game of the year. There's a lot of good things they did. Being able to see the Pokemon in the wild, even in different routes, you can choose what you want instead of RNG. Good change. Let's Go did that, and I think it's a good thing that they should keep going in the future. Other than that, I mean, it's Pokemon.
It is Pokemon, that's for sure.
It's fun. At the end of the day, it's fun. I'm having fun.
I'm still gonna buy it because every review I've basically heard has either said it's really good or that it's too easy. And to everyone who's saying it's too easy, I think it's because Pokemon's been out for so long, and there is this weird, super hardcore Pokemon fan base who plays Pokemon hardcore since we were in elementary school. But basically the way I feel about Pokemon is, yeah, it's not going to be a great story. It's just going to be a little bit of casual fun, because at the end of the day, every single one of those games is about a fucking 10-year-old leaving his parents to become a trainer. That's the target audience, is a fucking 8 to 12-year-old. No shit, it's an easy game. What are you expecting here?
Yeah. Yeah, I got it. I picked Pokemon up because I was I haven't played Pokemon since the original trilogy. Is it a trilogy? No.
I guess if you add Pokemon Yellow into that, but
you can't really call it a trilogy though, because it's not.
Not really. It's the original Red Blue.
Yeah.
But if you count Green 1 from Japan,
yeah.
Quadrilogy.
It's Gen.
I count it as a trilogy just because
it's not
Yellow
technically
was
a trilogy because it's not really it doesn't go sequential, but there are 3 of them.
True.
I say.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, fair. But anyways, I haven't played since them, and this is on the Switch. I love the Switch. I need an RPG. I was thinking about getting Dragon Quest
11S, man.
Yeah, I got the demo. I was enjoying that. So I was like, all right, maybe I can get into turn-based RPG again. So I pick up Pokemon, I fire it up, do the whole, go through, and as soon as I get into the grass, I'm like, this game is just so dumb. I can't stand how bad the writing is. I can't stand how dumb it looks. The wild area is a joke. It's just a joke. I get the criticism now because you walk in and it's just low-res poly, an inch of grass, and then you see little pixels kind of peek around. And it's this is the big selling point. I saw a Onyx kind of travel down the road and then kind of just disappeared. And I was just like, what is this?
That's
game?
the unfortunate thing is that the 360 camera, the 360 camera is the big innovation.
Yeah, well, it's just like
the Pokemon Company and Game Freak are very slow to adapt.
I mean, I guess, but they could hire someone that knows how to do like game design.
That's the thing is, at the end of the day, the games just sell and they make tons of money, so they just keep doing the thing that makes the money.
Yeah. And then again, at the end of the day, it's a game made for fucking 10-year-olds.
Yeah, I mean, it's never been more true. Like, I feel like this game compared to even...
It's a great game for 10-year-olds. Like, that's what Pokemon always has been and always will be.
Yeah. Like, it's rock, paper, scissors. I mean, there's no story. There's no
fan base. The fan base of when the games first came out in like 97, I don't remember.
Yeah, like 97.
You were 7 years old.
Yeah.
You're now in your 30s, or you're like your late 20s, early 30s.
And these are the people who are raging the most about it, and I don't fucking get it.
And now for some reason you're mad because Pokemon isn't realistic and you can create limb damage or some bullshit. I don't fucking know. The game was meant for children. It's always been for children. You're not a child anymore. Grow up.
Yeah.
It's got a 20-year-old anime who I think the main character just finally turned 11
and won a championship.
I mean,
after 20
I'll
years
put it this
failure.
way: it's a kid's game through and through. Like it's just not fun, in my opinion. It's not fun at all. It's rock, paper, scissors style combat. It's like, oh, this guy's a water guy. Of course, he's better against fire. I mean, there's no complexity in the fighting.
It only gets more complex when you get into competitive scene where you then add in like abilities, EVs,
yeah, but now it's
movesets.
What is it? Is it a kids game or is it a competitive kids game? There's no, you can't have.
But
both.
No, but I'm talking. That's like that is a completely different side of the game that is not the selling point towards children.
Yeah, I mean, if you are anyone, in my opinion, you really have to like Pokemon, like actual, like the cartoon. You want to look at them and you want to enjoy that whole thing. Because to me, the gameplay is just bad. It's just not fun in any way. I kind of regret it. I'll see how far I can play it, but it's just so basic. It's so bare bones. I thought the wild area was a cool idea from what I was seeing in the videos, but I mean, it's just not. And it's small. It's like a small area. It's not even, you come from Star Wars where these maps are fucking gigantic.
Like I said, there's a reason.
It's not for Star Wars though. Like you can't compare them. Like,
I know you can't. I was under the impression that it was gonna be at least like a Pixar movie, right? Those are meant for kids, but anyone can enjoy them. This is not the case. This is strictly.
I think you can still enjoy it, but like it is harder. It's different. And it's also a different medium. I don't think you can compare it to Pixar because like that is a completely different medium. Anyone can watch a movie and enjoy it and understand because that's how well is the story written versus how complicated can you make a gameplay mechanic versus how easy is it to understand for a 10-year-old to pick up and just go. Like that is such a hard gap to actually make compared to like telling a compelling story anyone can rationalize and get behind.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of it. The writing is so bad. That's fine. The writing is not even like 10-year-old worthy. It's just like garbage. It's straight up the worst type of like anime writing that, hey mom, I'm here today. I'm walking out the door. Hey, what are you doing?
It's for 10-year-olds.
Yeah, but no, it is. No, he's right. Like the writing's always been bad. Yeah, we just thought it was amazing when it came out because we were fucking 8.
I'm warning anyone who is in my position who thinks that maybe it was like a Pixar where it is for kids, but you might be able to enjoy it. Anyone might be able to enjoy it. No, this game.
I think if
you have to really like Pokemon to like this game. Otherwise, there's nothing there for you at all. Because the gameplay, the writing, everything's not fun.
If you grew up with it, where you played it like you've played every gen, or maybe you skipped like 1 or 2 gens, but you've been playing them recently, then you're going to enjoy the game because it's just more of the same. If you haven't played since Gen 1, is a lot of changes that have happened over the course of the last 20 plus years. And you're probably going to be like, wow, why did I like this thing when I was 7? Because you were 7.
Yeah. I mean, I mainly liked Pokemon when I was a kid because I thought the catching the Pokemon thing was cool, and I thought having it like a handheld game was awesome, and that was like the first one that was like, holy shit, this is like a story I can take with me, like a book.
And you were like, you were 10, you wanted to run away from home.
Yeah.
And like this offered you an outlet that was awesome.
You could trade with your friends, and there was
you can name your Pokemon Boobs. Like it had all of those firsts.
And at the end of the day, 20 plus years later, it's the same.
It's exactly the same.
Fucking thing.
Except now there's a shitty wild area where you can see Pokemon walking around.
And if you're a fan of Pokemon, then you got more of what you wanted.
Yeah. I am disappointed. I am disappointed. I will say.
Like I said, for me personally, as a fan of Pokemon, I think it did some things right. Like I like the gym, the whole way they did gyms was a good compromise between old games and what they did in the last generation with the trials. There's a lot of stuff there that I feel like if they really put in the effort, they could make a great, fantastic Pokemon game for the Pokemon fans, even for the lifelong fans. This game just is a lot of good ideas done badly.
Yeah. Yeah.
That could be turned into something interesting. Yeah.
And that's why I say
the Switch is going to have long shelf life.
Yeah. And that's why I say for me, it's a good game that needs to take that step in combining all of its good stuff and actually getting in some proper coders to know how to actually handle compression and all this other stuff, and coding is a problem with them, and really take that step from just a good title, an okay title, to like a great game. It's not there.
No, it's not even
because the designs are okay. The new Pokemon are fucking fantastic. I love them.
Is it? I guess my biggest question is
that's the only thing to like.
Is it not? Like, is it great? Is it only good, or is it great if you compared to other games intentionally designed for 10-year-olds,
like Sun and Moon? Because
like Zelda. Zelda is a great example. That's like a young child's game, and that game anyone can pick up and enjoy. This is not that. This is far from that. They need to get out of this pigeonhole kids thing, because I think it's hurting them in the long run.
I also agree with that, but
for Nintendo in general.
No, just
Pokemon.
Just
because like you could
easily kids just do what you want to do, and then if cross the line a little bit, then you can change those things. You know what I mean?
Because I think you can easily argue like Zelda's I wouldn't even argue Zelda's entirely a kid's game anymore. You know what I mean? Like that's definitely grown up and advanced.
Mario's the same way. Odyssey was an amazing game. Any kid, any adult can play that game and have a good time. It's like it hits that Pixar level.
My thing with Pokemon, especially like story wise, like the older games, you always had like that evil team that you were kind of fighting against, like Team Rocket, or in Team Magma. There was always a team, and then like last generation kind of changed it up, where it's like, hey, these really aren't like terrible people. They're just kind of like hoodlums.
They're morally
but the characters were written really well. Like those characters were written really well, and I enjoyed them. This one has essentially what is the equivalent to soccer hooligans, and it just feels dumb. There's no real like bad organization you're fighting against. They're just fans of a trainer, and they just get in your way, but there's no character depth to them at all. There's not even like a leader of them.
Almost like English football.
There's no character depth to any of them.
At least Team Skull in the last set of games had Guzma as their leader, and he was like a charismatic, interesting character that had depth to him.
Mm-hmm.
This does not have any of that. There's so little character depth to any of the NPCs you meet in this game, and it really feels like they dumbed it down so hard that it's just too dumb.
Right. That's what I was trying to get across. It's just
because if they can
basic.
take some of the good character development they've had in the past in some of their games that they have made and evolve that and make a good actual story, then that would complement Pokemon well.
Yeah.
But I think this. I mean, maybe the part is that this is the main, like the first big, like I mean, they had Let's Go, but this is the first main title on the console system.
This is the first part of This is the first part of the new trilogy or whatever.
I think the framework is there to make something out of it. This game just isn't that.
Okay. I think that makes a lot more sense. I understand your Pixar argument better now because like I haven't played it yet, but I could see how that easily could be the case. My biggest point is that I always go back to like I hate being the meme kid now. I guess that is for 10-year-olds, and I'm turning that into a meme or whatever. But like, what other games came out this year for like that heavily aimed at children, and that's what I would judge it against.
That wasn't nostalgia based.
Yeah,
this is another thing. Is like Pokemon always plays into the nostalgia factor.
Well, that's the only way
does,
I think people are going to enjoy this. You have to really like Pokemon. You have to be like, wow, cool. That new Pokemon looks sick. Because that's all you got.
And kind of this, and one of the scary things is
it is enough for me. It is cool to see a Pokemon that I haven't seen before and try to catch it and try to learn how to. That part's cool. But that's all there is for me. There's nothing more than that, and it's hard for me to keep going and battling fucking little mushroom dudes that constantly get in my way.
There's no story beats that are driving you to go, I want to keep playing to see the next part.
Yeah. And you get into the wild area almost immediately. Like you hop in and then you're there. So you're seeing some of these cool people, but you can't really get to them because you're not ready to fight them.
And I think the wild area is a neat concept to build a framework around of, okay, this is an open area with a 360 camera where you can see Pokemon, you can see other players. It just runs like shit.
What we need,
and it's uninspired,
is CD Projekt Red
to make Pokemon.
Can you imagine a CD Projekt Red I would love that partnership.
A game
honestly.
developer that knows what they're doing, build a nice world and put some Pokemon in there, and that would be sick. You know, you get to keep the same writers, but
that
at least
would
you would keep
be a crossover. I would definitely pay money to see.
I mean, we got Star Wars, Dark Souls, where there could be many crossovers these days.
You keep the current iteration of this kind of style Pokemon continuing for the kids, and then just have CDPR just make like, here's Pokemon gone evil, where like they eat each other and you fucking eat them as food and shit like that.
So you can kind of understand why these games have a fixed camera on these routes. Because if they did a 360 camera, it would run like dog shit.
I mean, that's no excuse. It's no excuse.
Oh, no, it's not an excuse.
The game looks...
That's the reason why.
The game looks like complete shit.
That's just what the reason is.
I haven't noticed like too bad of frame rates in the wild area.
Because that's the dream. That really, for me, is the dream. Is like a Pokemon game with...
An open world Pokemon.
An open world with good story, with a free roaming camera.
Right.
Even on the routes, like with a world you can explore. And the current path has so much of the framework for what could be that and I'm afraid they're just going to be settling going for, okay, we did 14 million. We're doing the right thing. Let's not expand any further. Let's not experiment. Let's just do the status quo safety. And maybe we do one or two little things to experiment. But at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter.
All right, well, before we move on from that, I do want to ask you one question. I haven't seen it. I haven't had this move yet. But does headbutt actually headbutt, or is it with your feet?
No. So no, my fully evolved Score Bunny kicks does his headbutt with his legs.
They fucked up there, man. I thought they were gonna fix that. I thought that was an emulation issue.
I will say that the animations for the new moves and for the new Pokemon look great. Like Score Bunny's fully evolved form has a move called Pyro Shot, where it does it picks up a pebble with its foot, kicks into the air a couple times until it's essentially a soccer ball of fire, and then it kicks it at the enemy. That's a neat, cool animation. Why can't other moves have animations like that?
Yeah. I mean, from the ones that I've seen,
they did work on some animations, but the old moves, they were like, nope.
Yeah, there's a lot. But I will say, I mean, that it seems like they put a lot of their attention like just in that fight mode, whatever that mode's called, combat mode, because that's where it's like that's where I want to be the whole time. As soon as you get out of there, it's just like, what are we doing?
You want it to be like Pokemon Stadium. They just need to make Pokemon Stadium for the Switch, honestly.
But with an open world where I can, run into.
Can you imagine, honestly, could you imagine, just as an appeasement to all the people who say that there's not 1,000 Pokemon in this game, just make Pokemon Stadium. Just make a new Pokemon Stadium for people who just want the battles.
Yeah, and it would probably cost them, nothing to make because they already have the framework for it. Just put it online. There you go.
Yeah.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
Get into the news. all the juicy news.
Half-Life 3 is confirmed, guys. We got it. It's here.
Don't call this Half-Life 3.
Oh, wait a second. Half-Life Alyx, our flagship VR game this Thursday. We're going to unveil it this Thursday from Valve's Twitter.
So I assume
Doobie's just mad because he doesn't have a VR headset.
I assume you play as Alex Vance. And
Yes, you do.
I'm going to assume that this is. I mean, I know why they're doing it. Half-Life is their biggest IP, like in terms of VR and moving a VR unit.
Which they want to do because they have the best one right now.
Yeah, how many will it sell? I don't know. I'm not specifically buying a VR set at the moment just for one game. This is not economically feasible for me.
You fucking might.
We'll see.
Might.
I don't see myself doing it just over one game, but I think this is something that could start pushing actual good games other than like the 5 like very small handful we have for VR.
Yeah.
My big thing is like, okay, so you got Half-Life Alyx, and now you're gonna have a ton of people going, man, Half-Life 3 might actually be in development.
True. No, it's just this.
No, it's not. Even if this sells decently, they're never going to make Half-Life 3. And if this thing doesn't sell well at all, they'll easily just come out and be like, well, it looks like the interest, that the fan interest just isn't there for Half-Life. Market says that the sales weren't good, and market kind of says that no one's interested in Half-Life 3, so we're just not going to make it.
And we're making it anyway. Who cares?
They're never making Half-Life 3 at this point.
I disagree. I disagree. They would make so much money on Half-Life 3. I think they're waiting for whatever new
they would have done it by now.
Source engine that they want to create to release that game. I don't know. Maybe they're waiting for the next gen to come through.
I feel like since the last Half-Life episode 2,
they would make so much money on it.
We've had 2 different Unreal engines come out.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I don't know. What was Unreal 3? Was Unreal 3 around at the time of Half-Life 2?
They use Source.
It was like Unreal Tournament.
Half-Life 2 was the big reveal for.
What was the big reveal of Source?
It was a big reveal for Source 2. The episode 2 is Source 2, I think.
Maybe.
Which also makes you realize how fucking old Source 2 is.
And it's a great engine.
It is still a great engine, but like, yeah, like the other game that came out to reveal Source 2 was CS Source and fucking Day to Defeat Source.
Those are awesome, dude. I loved all
They
of
were
them.
great fucking games, and I'm just saying, if your hope is Valve's going to be like Valve's getting a new engine, like,
well, what I'm saying is I think if they're going to release a Half-Life 3, it's going to be on top of whatever new engine that they're creating.
Fair. But do they need to make a new engine? This one's going 13 years strong, and they're not stopping.
Maybe in this next gen, maybe they'll want to. This is a good sign. No,
sure. Like if Valve's actually making a real game, that is, I mean, the only game that has been remotely interesting for VR for me so far has been Pavlov.
Yeah, and Pavlov's cool. Onward is cool. That's about it.
Pavlov's like the only one that's like, for me personally, has really captured my attention of like, okay, that would be a lot of fun. That would be cool. If you have Valve step in, like, yeah, we're making a Half-Life, it's going to be a good game.
Oh, yeah.
Like Valve doesn't fuck around for the most part when it comes to like their main core games.
No, I'm very fascinated to see what this is going to be. Very happy that they're making it. But I am a very niche consumer in this regard. I have a VR headset. Like Doobie said, how many people are going to buy VR just for this game? Well, it depends on how good the game is. I don't think it's going to be that good where people are buying this headset for it. But once you
probably
start
not
to say,
the index, especially. To be honest.
Yeah. But once you start to factor in, like, now you can play Onward and some of these, Robo Recall, The Climb. There's some really good AAA VR games. It makes it a little bit more worth it to jump into it.
That's basically my hope is like, okay, here you actually can have that flagship game people are actually super interested in. Hopefully it makes good money and actually gets people like actually making good games for VR finally, basically. Other than, like I was saying, we have a handful. Yeah. There's a handful of really good VR games, but like it's still a really hard sell when like your main game that you could play a lot of VR with is honestly still probably VR chat.
Yeah.
Like
a lot of people are playing ping pong. Ping pong's a good one.
Yeah, like, and the VR is perfect for that. Don't get me wrong, but like to ship
Poker too. Poker Star. Shout out to Poker Stars VR.
to get someone to like really want to invest $1,000 to go play ping pong and VR chat and poker.
Yeah.
You got to start sweetening that pot. That's my thing.
Which is why I think this is cool, because this is dedicated to a niche consumer base, and you're gonna need some beefy hardware to run it. So this is like, they were like, look, we want to make a cool VR thing, so we're gonna do it no matter what, no matter how much money it makes. That's why I don't think they're focused on sales with it. I think they just want to do it just to have it in their
True.
VR library, you know?
No, true. And I mean, it'll definitely help with both. I still think if it does turn out being good, which I expected it to turn out being good, it will help boost sales of the index. That's a bonus. But realistically, they're not. I don't think they are. I agree. They're not. That's not their main concern of boosting index sales. Because while yes, that will happen. Again, if someone's like, oh, they're not already into VR and they're going to buy VR for this game, you're just going to buy a $300 Oculus.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're just going to go out and buy the most basic Oculus or Rift or something like that, whatever is $300 or cheaper at the moment. You're not going to like jump all in buying an index and being like, all right, this is what I'm doing now.
Mm-hmm. Possibly. I do want to
see. I mean, if money's not an option, then yeah, go for it. But for the average consumer, if they're going to jump in for it, I think they're going to go on the low end.
Well, I think if the game is good enough, which I don't know if it will be, but I think if it's like that groundbreak, because we all were just waiting for like that Snapchat of VR. I think if it's that, then that will be like, okay, let's start building a fucking VR rig. I think a lot of people will.
No, I could see that. It's one of those like. It's a scale of reasonable expectations for me, I guess, where it's like I could see it be like reasonably being good enough that someone's going to go buy a $300 Oculus. If to make it reasonable enough that enough people are going to go out and buy a $1,000 index, it's got to be the best fucking game ever made.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like that. Like
it's got to be groundbreaking.
Right, it's got to be It's got to be past groundbreaking. It's groundbreaking, and it is like no game. Like it's fucking 10 times better than Red Dead Redemption 2 combined with The Witcher 3. You know what I mean? It's got to make Cyberpunk look like the worst game ever made. If you want to start expecting it to ship a lot of $1,000 units of VR headsets.
Yeah. Well, that's why I don't think they're really focused on sales. I think they just want to make a cool VR game. And that does make me happy because I do think Half-Life 3 is going to come. I'm not with Doobie on that. I think they are going to make it.
I want it, but I don't hold on.
Yeah. I have about as much faith in that as seeing Dave defeat 3, which I would love by in a heartbeat.
I know.
Like there's a new Counter-Strike operation that came out this week for the first time in fucking 3 years. So maybe it's a sign they're trying again. But I'm got faith in Valve making a third until I see Dave defeat 3. Fuck Half-Life. I don't even care about Half-Life. Dave defeat 3. Come on.
Yeah, dude. We need to donate to the Day of Defeat team to make that game. All right, moving on. BioWare plans to a complete overhaul for Anthem. This is from Jason Schreier of Kotaku. Recent silence and a couple of high-profile departures from BioWare have led fans and pundits to speculate that the studio has abandoned its most recent game, Anthem. But the opposite is true. For the last few months, BioWare and parent company EA have been planning an overhaul of the online shooter, according to 3 people familiar with those plans. Some call it Anthem 2.0 or Anthem Next. Many of the details are still in flux, and there's no clear timeline for the Anthem Next project just yet. In fact, from what I've heard, the developers at BioWare haven't even decided how it will be distributed. They're still figuring out whether updates should be released all at once or over an extended period of time. Anthem could be overhauled through a series of updates, a la No Man's Sky. It could get a game-changing expansion like Destiny's critically acclaimed Taken King. Most of Anthem's biggest systems, its mission structure, its loot, its world, will change drastically, but the developers have not yet figured out exactly what it will look like. So we're going to get Anthem 2.0 soon, which is pretty interesting. I do think there's a lot there for them to take from. But this comment here, the top comment, is it's no longer the top comment, but it was basically it was someone in the comments on this article saying like, this sounds awesome, I can't wait to play it, I will never spend another dime on Anthem. And I think that's going to be the sentiment for a lot of people. They got burned by it already. Thank you. They got burned by it already, so they're not going to spend a dime. And I'm wondering if this will be just like if it's going to be a paid sort of deal, or if they're just going to silently update it. That remains to be seen, but we'll see. We shall see.
They're going to offer private servers in about a year that you have to pay $120 a year for. And then it actually loses all of your things.
So, yeah.
I don't know. Like, I'm this is what I expected. They have to completely it just died so quickly that it was so uninteresting, I guess, that you had two options. You have to completely retool it for free, or you just kill it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it will be a bigger backlash if they retool it and then offer it as a paid expansion, because people are gonna be like, what are you doing? You know, they have to do it for free, or yeah, like you said, kill it. So we'll see with that. Google Stadia.
Hello everyone, 2019.
Oh, shut up. Google Stadia is out, and it is getting some mixed reviews. So this is from GameSpot. You can go check it out. They do like a breakdown of it, and they're pretty negative on it. Most are pretty negative on Stadia. The most that I've seen is like, it's just incomplete. There's a lot of stuttering. There's a lot of server issues. You need to have insane stable internet quality. A lot of like the features don't work. It's hard to discern when you can use it on what devices and which ones you can't. It's hard to set up. People are pretty negative on it so far. But the latency seems to be pretty good. People have been like, honestly, it's like when you play something like Destiny, you could feel it a little bit more, especially with mouse and keyboard. But any controller game, they've been like, the latency's not too bad. So I'm actually pretty hopeful on Stadia.
Honestly, I think the biggest critique at the moment for Stadia is its game pricing.
$60.
It's pretty rough.
I don't even think they have any choice. Like, I don't think that's even up to them to discern, you know?
It's just tough because you really don't own the game.
Yeah.
Even at those prices.
I mean, it's a risky endeavor. They have Microsoft is on their heels with xCloud. This was a pretty disappointing showing so far. I don't know why they had to rush
sounds like an early Google product, to be honest.
You know that
say.
xCloud is gonna come with Game Pass.
Yeah.
Which is gonna make this pricing model just blown it out of the water.
True. But, you know, opening up a Google Chrome tab and getting to just hop in a game is really cool. That's a really cool idea. And I do hope Google tries to work this out, because a lot of people have been saying like, yeah, this is like every other Google product that they've released.
If I could play World of Warcraft with it, I'd buy it though.
Yeah. I don't know if you can.
I don't think you can. It wouldn't make sense. You can't buy WoW like that. But like, I'm just saying, if I just open up a tab and play WoW anywhere, oh yeah, I'd be all in.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like, I think there's a lot of games that I would love to just, hey, let's just play a round of whatever in my tab real quick. That's so powerful. That's so powerful. That's where my opinion the future of gaming is going. It's just, you know, it's off to a rocky start. I don't know why they had to rush this out. It seemed like they just wanted to be the first in the door and kind of make a statement, which they did. And for the most part, the people who haven't had any issues, they say it's pretty good. The latency doesn't feel like it's there. And some of the 4K options look great. So you have to have pretty ideal situations to really get the most out of it. It's just unfortunately not everyone has that. So we'll keep you updated on this story, but so far not so good. Path of Exile developers have finally talked about Diablo 2. Grinding Gear Games is confident that the just announced
Path of Exile 2, but they did also talk about Diablo 2.
Yes. Yes, confident that the just announced Path of Exile 2 will be capable of going toe-to-toe with Blizzard's Diablo 4, speaking to GameSpot at ExileCon in New Zealand today, which I didn't know existed until I saw.
It just happened this week, and it was the first one. I watched most of it, I'm not going to lie, because I wasn't expecting to watch most of it. But then when I started watching the beginning of it and the announcements coming out, and it's just like, bruh, as a PoE player, bruh.
You talking about Path of Exile 2?
Oh yeah, just
Looked
Path
good?
of Exile 2, the mobile game. They actually announced it in a way that makes it sound like it's not total shit. They were really fucking humble about it the entire time. Well, like their announcement was humble, but like if you actually go and watch like their whole announcement of it, like it is like GGG, like sure they sold out a little bit to Tencent. They sold 10% of their company to Tencent for funding. But
Didn't
like
know that.
yeah, it's 10%. It's not like they sold the whole thing. Like everything's still GGG basically. Like they are still just they're now like the small indie company you love. They just actually have money to like actually go after what they're trying to build.
Mm-hmm.
But like when you're actually watching them on stage, like they announced a mobile game as just kind of like, yeah, this is something we've been like dicking around with for 2 years. Their trailer was hilarious for it. But like you can even see on like the stream, like in the announcement, the guys just like Chris is just up there just like, yeah, I don't really know. We don't really know what we're gonna do with it. We're just interested if you guys are interested, see if you guys are interested. Like everything they do is like super humble and they just listen to the community every fucking time and it's beautiful.
Interesting.
And the PoE 2, it's probably not even going to be until beta till the end of next year. So it's on a similar release schedule, it sounds like, to Diablo 4. Fuck Diablo 4. Like, dude, this game looks so much fucking better. It's not even fucking close.
What about Diablo Mobile?
Fuck that too, dude. Like, this game
But
is
don't you have
it's
a phone?
this game is already so much better in it, or like in every way. Everything they were showing for this, is the way they're doing it is just an update to Path of Exile. It's the same Path of Exile you have. All of your microtransactions, all of your stash tabs, everything still transfers over. It's literally just what was originally going to be called the 4.0 update.
Except is it going to be free?
Yeah. Yeah, it's Path of Exile. It's always free. Mm-hmm. Everything's free except for your microtransaction, cosmetic, and stash tabs.
Right.
Like, it's originally was for Path of Exile 4.0, but they're adding so much to it that they're calling it 2 because they're adding a completely new storyline. They are completely revamping and updating the engine. Like the graphics look so much better. The mechanics look way better. Like this is how you build a game. Honestly, like I have to give them major props.
This is what they said. Any company with a lot of money can make really nice graphics and so on. They have amazing graphics as well and a great storyline and so on, most instead of Blizzard and Diablo 4. But what we have here with Path of Exile 2 is bringing across 6 or 7 years of content, including all the balance in the ecosystem. If you make a new game, maybe it's bad. You don't know until you play it, whereas we know Path of Exile is good, and there are a lot of people out there who like that.
So yeah, all of the mechanics, all of like the league mechanics and everything's still going to be in this game. Like there's nothing being gutted for this at all because the naming scheme is a little bit weird because they are calling it PoE 2, but it's mostly just because they're adding so much that it's
I'm
like revamping the game.
I'm curious if Blizzard announced Diablo 4 alongside of the mobile game, if it would have been received in sort of the same way this was.
That's not even a question. It would have been received 1,000 times better. Mm-hmm. Like, and they were totally poking fun of that when they were talking about the mobile game of like,
it's essentially like the same thing, except then they talk about Path of Exile.
Well, no, to paraphrase, like literally on stage, he was just like, yeah, imagine if we would have announced that last year. But we wanted to make sure we had the new computer game done first to announce.
Right.
Like, yeah. No, it looks fucking fantastic. I was super impressed by the Exile Con. Like they seemed to do a really cool job with it. It seemed really well done.
Ziggy, you here?
Yeah. But no, he was there, of course. Crip was there.
Yeah, he's a host.
Yeah, no, a lot of them were. Fucking Quinn was there, all of those guys. But like it seemed to go really well. They like something that I thought was cool was they wanted people there to like be able to interact easier and have like an icebreaker to go and talk to devs and stuff like that. So they literally made a card game, like an ARG card game that was just there, that you got like this pack of cards that would give you stats and items from the game. And every dev had a shirt on, like saying they were like displaying a monster stat basically. And they turned it into a complete card game to have an icebreaker to just get people to go and talk to devs and stuff like that without like awkwardly just being like,
What?
hi. Dude, no, it was like they did it super well. They have fucking sick ideas.
They created an AR card game just to make people,
just to get people like actually talk, like introducing themselves and talking to devs and shit like that and not make it awkward.
interesting.
Like, dude, they're fucking awesome.
Are you gonna go to ExileCon next year?
Dude, if I could afford to go to New Zealand, hell yeah.
We're gonna have to work a little harder on No Life so we can get you a ticket.
AR card games, man, we're getting so much closer to Yu-Gi-Oh! Card games on motorcycles.
Yeah, like it wasn't that in depth, but it was, I don't know, I was impressed. Like it was just like all those little things that you would like hope a con would do and stuff like that. They like put a lot of thought into it, and it seemed to go over really well.
Casual 1032 says, fuck Diablo Mobile.
The actual games looked really fucking good.
You see, I will say, I wasn't the hater on Diablo Mobile. I think a Diablo Mobile game could be cool. But now
I think it could be cool, but Path of Exile, though.
Yeah, we're going to have to see.
PoE's also, and they that was part of their marketing for the video, and what was poking fun about it was like literally they started out, the mobile game, they literally started off with Jonathan, who's always been he was one of the 3 co-founders and also one of like the high ups there. He's just like, literally, it just starts off with like, yeah, mobile games are fucking bullshit. Like that's how the fucking video starts, because that's been their entire mantra and shtick is like, yeah, dude, like mobile gaming kind of sucks, just kind of like how free to play PC games used to suck. So we see an opportunity.
Mm-hmm. That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear.
It seems interesting. I don't think I would play the mobile game, to be honest, that much, because that's not me. But like,
if it's good, you will. If it's good,
true.
if it's Poe on mobile, you will fucking play it, dude. I'm telling you.
True, but like I will just say
That's
the updates to PoE, they look really fucking good. They're adding, so there's a new engine that completely revamped the graphics. The graphics look amazing. They look like Diablo 3-ish if Diablo 3 was actually dark and had better lighting. Like that was the coolest thing and easiest thing
does it
to
look like
instantly
Diablo
hit.
4?
I would still think it's probably still gonna look worse than Diablo 4. Like it probably is,
you think so?
Yeah, but like it looks pretty good. It definitely looks like it belongs actually in 2019 or 2020 whenever it comes out. Mm-hmm. Like the biggest thing that was like instantly noticeable is they added and worked really hard on getting lighting down. So like all the light sources actually cast shadows and have like a really nice tracing effect to them, because they figured out they've been working on a tech basically to add sort of ray tracing and grass and shadows on server side. So it's still displayed on your computer, but you're not taking the actual processing kit for doing that. So like it actually looks way fucking better. They're adding new skill systems. There's tons of skills they're adding. They're taking the eight classes they have, and they're completely revamped. 9 classes, and they're completely revamping them so you can go play the original 9 classes in 19 ascendancies. They're also adding another 19 ascendancies. So there's going to be like 36 actual ascendancies to go into for character creation and shit like that and builds. Like they're just like doubling the size of the game, which is already a fucking huge ass complex game. They're going to completely redo a new like passive tree, but you can still go back and play the original campaign, or you can play the new campaign. It all leads to maps. Like there's so much stuff where it sounds really fucking good. They're adding
the passive
they're adding
tree,
shape-shifting.
Is the passive tree connected to the old passive tree?
I don't know for sure, because they haven't really unveiled the new passive tree.
I'm curious.
Like that's still mostly under wraps, because that's not done.
Insane if they did that.
Right? I don't think it would go that far. I think it would go like you can choose to play the older style character if you want this type of build, or the newer style character if you want a different type of build.
That's
I
how
think that's kind of
I would
how it's
assume that's
sounding.
how it would be. Because imagine the builds with 2 of those big ass trees. No, it's too much. It's almost too much.
Uh
I know for you would fucking.
it isn't. It isn't because like, well, something I noticed is they're redoing the way gear and skill gems work. So skill gems no longer socket into gear. Just your attack skill gem is now has the sockets and links on it. So you can actually have, so you're looking for good quality skill gems instead of specific gear pieces with skill gems on it. That makes gearing way fucking easier. That just means you have to get a good skill gem.
Do you like that idea?
I'm growing up. I'm growing on. It's growing on me because
I love that system that they had in the
I do
first one.
too, but I see what they're going with, and I do kind of like it now that I've been seeing it more fleshed out in deep dives, because there is still complexity and chance to it. You can still it still has colors, things like that. You still have to chrome the skill gem now instead of the piece of gear, for example. Like it's still a very similar system, just slightly
I see. Yeah, I see what you're
you're instead of chroming your gear, you're chroming the gem. You know what I mean? That's like that's kind of the same thing.
Maybe that'll. Yeah,
But
I see what you're saying.
They were showing off they are trying to make it easier to get into. So like with that system, they were making it so, okay, if say you have a support gem and it only works in a set amount of skills, you can't even socket it into a skill that won't work anymore since there's so many. So like that way, like if someone's new, they can't like make something that doesn't work, you know what I mean, without realizing it.
Yeah.
So
Alright,
like
yeah.
I think they are trying to make it easier to get into at the same time.
Yeah. It looks pretty good.
If you like action RPGs, dude, this game looks amazing. I'm fucking pumped. I'm so pumped.
All right. Do you want to take a guess at how much the Sonic redesign cost? Did you see it on the thing?
Not as much as ExileCon. No, I don't know.
35 million. It increased their budget by $35 million, which
That
is
actually seems cheaper than I was expecting.
yeah. One rumor puts the total Sonic Hedgehog movie budget at 125 million, an increase of 35 million from the original $90 million budget. So you're getting into the 3 digits there. It's a lot of money at the end of the
For
day.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, for Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Also,
Is,
dude,
no
I
matter
also
what they
I
do,
love.
is this movie even gonna be able to make its budget back?
Honestly, I think so because that's actually a really small budget for a movie. I was expecting a much bigger budget for that movie, to be honest. So I think they can make that back.
It's a pretty big budget. It's a pretty big budget, but
Pretty big budget.
compared
yeah.
to some other movies like a Galaxy movie, it's not up there. But that's a pretty big budget for Sonic, and it's a Valentine's Day movie, so you can take your date out to go see Sonic.
I honestly I still think it could make it back just because it actually looks watchable now.
For comparison, I believe the estimations for the 2021 Mortal Kombat movie have its budget around 30 to 50 million.
Yeah, that's about. Find out how much The Irishman cost, the new Scorsese movie. I bet you
that would be more interested in the Mortal Kombat. I'm not going to compare it to Mortal Kombat.
Irishman.
Yeah, see the budget for The Irishman. Which
Irishman was actually
140 million.
Yeah, so it's about
yeah, to be fair though,
it's about the price of a Scorsese movie.
It's including the cost of all of those actors.
Yeah, which is Al Pacino, it's fucking Robert De Niro, it's Scorsese direct. I mean, that's up there. That's up there.
I guess that's a little bit up there, but that's
for Sonic.
For Sonic, true. Okay, that's a fair argument. I still don't think it's really not that much, honestly, for movies.
But then like 90 million seems too much for Sonic anyway.
90 seems, that's what I guess, yeah. I would expect it to be like 60 and then it rose up to 90.
Yeah, that would be more understandable. 90 million is up there for Sonic, and then to have to increase $35 million, that's crazy. It's crazy how
Spider-Man
much
Into
that
the
shit
Spider-Verse had a 90 million budget.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume that's like the top end for like a fully animated movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
And those are like an hour, almost an hour and a half. They're really not even pushing 2 hours.
Also, I love all of the comment section is just like red pill
Spider-Man
as
was 2
fuck.
hours. Into Spider-Verse was 2 hours.
Are you sure?
Hour and 56-minute runtime.
Oh, okay.
Okay. No, I love
Really
that
great movie.
this whole entire comment section is just red pill as shit. Here's hoping this movie fails. It'll show that bending over backwards for nonsense reasons won't guarantee success.
Yeah, that is some red pill shit.
Like that's like half of the comment section is just like, this wouldn't be surprising, but I hope the movie fails. You fucking like, you snowflake. You changed your mind on a movie. Like,
all right, we're gonna have to go through this one real quick, and then we're getting into nominees, and then the MacBook, and then we'll get out of here. We'll talk. We'll just do those, and then we'll get out. All right, so we got some PS5 patent images. That's the controller that you're looking at now. I mean, it looks like a fucking DualShock controller. with
Yeah,
a
it looks
larger
chunkier though.
I mean, the patent looks chunkier, and then from what
I
I'm
hope
seeing,
it's not as chunky. Okay, that yeah.
The changes are no light sensor, but to be fair, like
you didn't use the light sensor.
Its only real use, I think, was for the VR stuff. But even then, like, it's not necessary.
It was used for that, and it was used for the Move games, and then like otherwise, no, it was just to tell you if your controller is connected or not.
Yeah, or if you were player 1 or player 2.
Yeah,
I enjoy the switch that everyone's making to USB-C. So
yeah,
true.
For sure.
That's a good.
I wouldn't even fucking buy the system if it was USB mini. I wouldn't even buy it.
I can't do. I'm not going back.
It does look a little chunkier, but it looks very similar to the Switch. It looks exactly like the Switch.
But like, this is I guess a subjective personal preference. I like the skinniness. I don't want it to keep getting chunkier, more like the Switch or more like the Xbox.
Yeah.
Personally, like that's why I like the DualShock system. I do like the smaller controllers personally.
You like the thinner feel.
Yeah.
I love the Xbox though. I think that one's the top controller. So if it's a little chunkier,
I think the Xbox has been getting better, but like for me, because I grew up on PlayStation, the Xbox has always felt chunky to me.
Oh yeah,
and that's where I see this. This is where I see this going, where it's like
the DualShock is
I want this right. I want the skinny little DualShock, a little bit smaller in my hands. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the little X-wing thing.
Yeah, I mean, and it comes down to weight.
That too, yeah.
I remember the old 360 controller. Well, a great controller with those battery packs. My God, that thing was a fucking brick.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. We got Game Award nominees. Let's make our predictions. We won't go through all of them.
Death Stranding wins every single award.
We'll start from the bottom. We won't do any esports. No content creator. Okay. No fresh.
Oh, we should go really quickly though, because you want to say, since when the fuck is Adren considered an esports host? I'm sorry. I love Adren. He's a homeboy. He's a coach. He's not a host. He's done like 3 events maybe. Same with Zonic, who is also literally won Coach of the Year for CSGO, has maybe been on like 1 or 2 desks the entire year. Dude's paid like $100,000 a year to be a fucking coach.
To be fair, best esports host and best esports coach are literally the same people.
No, interesting. All right. Yeah. Let's go multiplayer game of the year. Apex? Do you guys think Apex or Modern Warfare? Or Tetris 99?
If Tetris 99 won that, I would be like
honestly
legit dope. But I think it's probably going to be Apex. And then if Modern Warfare wins, I wouldn't be surprised either.
Know who I think should? It's not in here because now it's considered an esports game. Know who I honestly think should win? Fortnite. Yeah, like it's not, don't get me wrong, it's not the game for me, but like they've been constantly updating it. It's still got a strong player base. That whole thing where they closed the game and everyone freaked out for 3 days or whatever, like I gotta give them props. That was kind of cool. It kept everyone interested. Like
I wonder,
that's worthy of praise to me.
I wonder if they put Apex in here so it wouldn't compete with Fortnite.
Interesting.
Honestly, probably. Yeah.
Interesting.
Because like, and it could be best new multiplayer game, I guess, because Fortnite's not new anymore. But like, that's one of those things where I think
Apex should take it.
it's not the game for me, but I think Fortnite actually has been holding on stronger than I think it had any right to actually hold on to, and that deserves praise.
I will say this year, I think Apex deserves the win. It was just seemed more people. It might not be anymore, but
Fortnite copied like at least 4 of the things it did.
Yeah,
the ping system alone, and then the respawn system.
Yeah, I think Apex should take that one. Best
I will say for indie developer, I think it's Untitled Goose Game.
Where's that?
I see. It's below that.
I see.
It took
dude, that or I don't think it will win, but dude, Disco Asylum, please, Disco Elysium, please.
I'm a little disappointed though that my friend Pedro is in here, but Katana Zero isn't. Because I would put Katana Zero in this list. I don't know why it's not even nominated.
I hear Slay the Spire is incredible.
Slay the Spire is good.
A huge fan following as well.
Oh, and it's a fucking great game. Untitled Goose Game is honestly also really fucking good too.
I'm gonna have to check them
personally,
out. I haven't played
dude,
any of them except
Indies are great right now, man.
Dude,
Indies are so really good right now.
Disco Elysium. If you guys haven't played that game or see that game, check it out. It's absolutely fantastic.
Do you want to know why they're great right now? Because the Epic Store. They're giving these guys money. That's why. They're giving them shitloads of money. That's why they're great.
I would agree with you if any one of these games we just talked about was from the Epic Store.
And the Switch.
Yeah,
Nintendo and Indies has gone
Switch
very
too,
well.
These were all literally Switch games and Steam games still.
Yeah.
But I think that would be a thing next year.
Best strategy game. What do you think? Because I know.
1 second. Can I say just one quick thing for content creator? I think it's hilarious the choices just because I just actually read them. So you have Courage, Dr. Lupo, Ewok, Grefke, and Shroud. That is super fucking interesting to me because content creator of the year has almost always been a Twitch thing. 3 of these people are no longer on Twitch as of the last couple of months.
It's gonna be weird.
That's really fucking insane to me. Courage left for YouTube. Ewok left for YouTube, I think, too, and Shroud left for Mixer.
Did Dr. Lupo go to Mixer too?
No, Dr. Lupo's still on Twitch. Like, that is really interesting to me that many are considered in the top that all left.
All right. Best fighting game? Does it go to Smash?
Oh, I was gonna say best strategy game because I know that Jerry's
strategy game
guy.
That's really tough. All of those were actually really fucking good games.
Let me guess. Doobie's gonna say Wargroove.
I don't know.
Wargroove belongs up there.
It's between Wargroove and Fire Emblem.
I'm gonna disagree because I bought all of these games.
Total War?
They're all actually really good. Total War 3 Kingdoms was really fantastic. Age of Wonders was really good.
Great things about it.
Who wins?
Anno was actually amazing. Tropico 6 was good. Tropico 6 is the least worthy on this list. And I'm saying that as a big Tropico fan.
I think this is because it's all. I think it's all.
I'd honestly actually want Age of Wonders Planetfall. That's what I would want, but I think it should go to 3 Kingdoms.
I think based on the fact that it's probably, I think it's all voter viewer votes. Just the popularity of Fire Emblem will probably win that.
It probably will. I don't think it should. And that's not knocking Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem's great. It's just like this was actually probably the best year for strategy games in a long time.
There was a lot.
Next one, let's be honest here. Best family game. Just rename this category to best Nintendo game.
Yeah, I was gonna skip that because it's
best fighting game.
What is a family game other than just a child's game?
That's rough. It's Smash still.
How the fuck is Jump Force in best fighting game? How did it even get nominated?
I don't know.
Because Dead or Alive is still a game apparently getting into this category.
How did Power Rangers not at least get a nomination over Jump Force?
No, dude, you need Dead or Alive Volleyball 15, dude.
But real talk, it's Smash.
Yeah, I would definitely give it to Smash.
Best RPG. This one's so
Kingdom Hearts 3? Get the fuck off this list.
How is Final Fantasy 4? I guess because they had the last expansion, but
they had an X-Pack. I still think that's a weird category to put it in because it is a good RPG, but it's definitely an MMO.
Yeah,
like that's
weird.
Yeah, but like this to me really comes down to: do you like Outer Worlds or do you like Disco?
Right.
And they're two.
It's like, do you like a shooter sort of style, Bethesda style RPG, or do you like, dialogue RPG?
But like Disco's even more insane, where it's like
a novel. It's more reading.
I think the Outer Worlds should win.
I don't. I honestly think Disco should win, actually, because I think Outer Worlds was really good, but like Disco is very similar to me to
it's like a traditional like RPG.
Well, it's like it's sort of like that, but they've everything like, okay, all the craziness that I've come to expect from Fallout style games in Obsidian, Disco Elysium, had it 50 times more than fucking Outer Worlds did. Like Outer Worlds was actually incredibly tame when you think of like the weird bullshit that those games are known for.
Yeah.
And Disco, like,
but are they really going to give?
It was like
Disco
Divinity Sin. It was like Divinity to me, where it was like, okay, dude, this is fucking. You can do over the top. You can actually role play a character instead of just like the Mass Effect formula of like, I'm Commander Shepard and I will do this.
Yeah, I'm curious if it'll win, because it is like that visual novel style RPG.
It is, but there's a lot of choice and options that change in that game.
Yeah,
and change the story.
But
there's
it's not
a lot
like
of
an Outer
replayability.
Worlds, it's not like
no, but
Kingdom
I would
Hearts.
say it's even more of an actual RPG. It's a bit more of like a Japanese RPG in the play style, I guess you could say. But it's not even JRPG. But it's
like a visual novel.
It's so good.
It's one of those almost like a Myst style game. You remember fucking those Myst games?
Kinda. But then instead you can just run around naked and do things that way instead, or just
I've been contemplating getting it. I want to check it out. I don't know.
Like, okay, so you're a police officer and you can do whatever the fuck you want, basically. Like the best way I can describe it is when the game opens up, you wake up hungover, not sure what happened last night. You walk out, the first person you see is this woman who you have taken in for custody for committing a crime, but since you don't remember, the first thing you can instantly do is start hitting on her and trying to fuck her. Like, that's the weird batshit darkness, I guess, of, like, that they've nailed perfectly.
Yeah, Outer Worlds kind of has stuff like that, but it's pretty straightforward, All right, best action adventure game. This is a pretty loaded category. I gotta give Sekiro. I gotta give
this. I mean, Sekiro. I think, yeah.
But Control was really good too. Though.
I would take Sekiro or Death Stranding. I'm interested in that, but it's probably gonna be. I would say Sekiro more for action adventure. Sorry, Death Stranding's not action; it's just adventure.
Control was really good too.
This is like the weirdest list to me. Because it's like, okay, so you got Control, you got Death Stranding, you got Sekiro. Hell yeah, brother. You got Borderlands 3, like sick new games. And then you have Resident Evil 2 remake and the 15th version of Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. Get the fuck out of here.
Resident Evil 2 is so good, though. I don't know what would win this category. I really don't.
It is, but like, can we stop giving the 18th copy of a game a fucking award for the best game in that category for a year?
It's Sekiro.
I don't. Dude,
stop nominating them. Right, why are they even nominated?
Let's. Who do we think is going to win? Do you guys think Sekiro will win this category?
I think
Sekiro.
See,
yeah.
I don't know. I think
it could be Borderlands. I could see Borderlands coming in.
I don't know if Borderlands is going to win any of them.
I don't think it should.
I think it could go to Resident Evil or Control easily. I think Sekiro should win it, but
I don't think it'll go to Control, to be honest. I don't think Control is going to do too well, honestly.
I disagree. I think it's going to do pretty.
I think Control is one of those games that it could and should do well, but like these things it's just a popularity contest. Who the fuck cares about Control?
Yeah, true.
Compared to like, that's why I can totally see Borderlands winning, because everyone and their mother bought Borderlands.
Yeah. Best action game. Apex, Astral Chain.
Why is it? It's a first-person shooter.
I don't know.
Same. So is Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Yeah, that's not. I don't know.
I don't like it. I don't
so
like this
is
list.
Metro.
I don't like this list at all. Actually,
honestly, Metro is
actually
really
no-
good. Metro. I'm voting Metro.
It's like they said action adventure and then put everything else that was either FPS or
This is like an FPS,
action
yeah.
into this because like Gears 5 and DMC 5 are not, and Astral Chain are not. Those are action games.
Right.
Those are not FPSs, but the other
And
three
Astral
are.
Chain
Well,
is-
no, Metro is an action game to me. It is a first person shooter, but like it's not a multiplayer shooter. It is entirely an action storyline shooter. It's more like Fallout, you know what I mean, than it is like Call of Duty.
To be fair, yeah, I can see that.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Call of Duty won it. The fucking campaign is insanity. But I mean, I would give it to Astral Chain. I thought Astral Chain was fucking great. Best VR AR game,
Beat Saber.
Beat Saber will probably win that. Asgard's Wrath, that'll probably win that one. Best community support,
Who died?
skip
Fortnite.
it, skip it. Best mobile
Fortnite.
game,
Actually, probably Destiny 2.
best
No, I
I-
hard disagree because I am still fucking pissed about how how bad that fucking whole transfer situation was. No, fuck off, Destiny 2. Fuck off, Bungie. You fucked that
Only
up.
Jerry remembers that. I don't even forgot about that.
Dude,
shit.
that was so terrible.
All right, best mobile game, Call of Duty Mobile will easily win that.
Sure.
Best indie game,
I see. I love how Katana Zero's in this list, but not in the other one.
This is best independent game. This isn't an indie game. It's
that was
independent.
and that one was for indie developer, which
Which
I
also
don't-
like
I feel like it should be the same
well,
list.
Katana Zero
now this
made
is
by
now
who?
instead of the Outer Worlds, we have the Outer Wilds.
Well, no, what I'm saying is.
Oh
the
yeah, why
other
did they
list-
call it Outer Wilds?
Well, that's a different game.
Oh,
There's two games. There's Outer Wilds and Outer Worlds. I know.
wait, what? Which one was I talking about?
You're talking about Outer Worlds.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Because that's the hard part is like you can't put Outer Worlds in a they got bought out by fucking Microsoft. Yeah, they're not an indie or independent developer at all.
Wow, interesting.
So I just find it funny that that Katana Zero is in this list, but
Disco,
the other
Game.
and the other list was for the developer. What was the best indie developer for specific game?
Right.
This is just straight up independent game, which it's confusing.
Who makes Katana? Is that digital?
ASCII Soft is the developers, and it was published by Devolver Digital.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Baba Is You though has a very big fan base, and it's apparently a very good puzzle game
Okay.
that I need to check out still. Either way,
Untitled
though, this is
Goose
still
Game.
a fantastic list of games.
It is. I'm the
Like,
thing that
I'm
I'm
not
the most
mad-
saltiest about now though is where's my GGG? Because Path of Exile should be on all of these lists still, in my opinion.
Like I said, though, I
Yeah,
wouldn't
but
be
that
mad if
also
any
is
of
a
these games
fucking
win.
11-year game. How old is that game now? Pretty old.
If any of
You
these
got
games
Final
win,
Fantasy
though,
14 on this list. All right, you can throw that out. I wouldn't put just Path of Exile, but like the expansion,
All right, best ongoing game.
Path of Exile.
probably
or-
Final Fantasy 14.
I don't know. This is
No,
a
it's
dumb
not,
list.
dude.
Why
Fuck
is this
Final
even a
Fantasy
fucking-
14.
Why is this even a nomination?
No, it should
probably
be.
Fortnite.
And it should honestly be Final Fantasy 14,
Be-
Fortnite,
no,
or
to
Classic WoW.
answer why is this even a category, it's because this is where we are in games now, where games are a service.
Yeah. Like, no, this category completely makes sense to me. This is where I'm arguing that Path of Exile, this is where you should win an award for Path of Exile. This is where Rainbow Six has done amazing this year with Siege. This is where Fortnite, like I was saying earlier, they still held up really fucking
It's hard for
well.
me to say Apex on this list because it's so new.
Yeah, but it's just like
I-
that. I like this is a list where I play a lot of game. Like this is where CS:GO finally came out with a freaking expansion or operation. Finally, like that's the type of games where no, I think you do give some of them credit because they do revitalize the game and keep it going and great. Like Siege did great this year. They had a lot of really cool like little Halloween mini games and other mini games and shit like that
They were nominated last year too, I think.
because they've been doing good, dude.
Yeah.
All right.
Games for impact. I don't
Life is Strange 2, your favorite.
No, don't ever say those words again in conjunction with each other, please. Best performance. All right, this is a good one. We got Pavarti Holcomb in Outer Worlds, Courtney Hope in Control, Laura Bailey in Gears, Mads Mikkelsen in Death Stranding, Matthew Peretta as Dr. Casper Darling in Control. Norman Reedus as Sam Porter Bridges. Oh, this is
Norman
tough,
Reedus.
dude.
It's Norman Reedus.
Dude, but
It's
Control
Norman
is
Reedus.
so good. Control's
It
characters
probably
are
is, but it's not
so
going to win. It's going to
good.
be Norman Reedus.
Let's be
You
honest,
literally
we're-
made the game so you could
we're-
make Norman Reedus
But
as
his
a character.
performance is not that good.
It
We're now
doesn't matter.
hitting-
You made
we're
a
now
game
hitting-
just to make him.
We're now hitting the part of the listing, as you can tell, where we're going to start saying Death Stranding a lot.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, the Game Awards is just an excuse for Jeff Keighley to hang out with Kojima.
Yeah.
All right, but who deserves it? I think Courtney Hope. It'd probably go to Dr. Casper. It would probably go to one of the Control people. I don't know if Courtney Hope as Jesse Faden takes the win, but Dr. Casper Darling is awesome in that game. I would give it to the brother. I think the brother did phenomenal in that game. I can't believe he's not even fucking nominated. Or I would go to, if it's going to be Death Stranding, it's got to go to Mads Mikkelsen. His performance is so much better than Norman. I mean, Norman, it's the same, like,
It's Norman Reedus.
I gotta go over here. Just not very convincing performance by him. Whereas Mads Mikkelsen, I mean, it's like you're watching a master at work. All right, best audio design. I would easily
Death
give that
Stranding.
to. I would easily give that to Call of Duty. Easily.
No, I'm sorry. We're in the part now where it's just Death Stranding.
I'm telling you, Call of Duty's sound design is best in class. No one is able to touch them right now. Their sound design's so good. Death Stranding sound design. Okay. Or is it go to Resident Evil 2?
So this is the part where we enter where they just put Death Stranding into every category.
Is Sekiro known for its sound design? What? All right. Best music.
Katana Zero. Oh, wait, it's not on this list.
No, it's not
Still
on,
Katana Zero.
it's not on the list. Sekiro's music's pretty good.
Should have been on this list. Katana Zero's soundtrack.
Death
is
Stranding
fantastic.
soundtrack is like actual songs. So that'll probably win.
It wasn't that great of a year for music. I'm sorry. And
I don't
sound
even what
design.
music is in Call of Duty.
Play your indie games. I'm telling you, just gotta play your indie games for music.
Yeah, I would probably the audio is tough. I would probably go Resident Evil 2 or Call of Duty. Best music, I would probably go Death Stranding just because there's actual songs. Best art direction.
The best music was NHL 20 with the revamped soundtrack where they probably changed one song.
Best art direction. Sayonara Wild Hearts is on there. That's pretty cool. I would
It's
definitely
Death Stranding, though.
I would definitely give that to Death Stranding.
Yeah.
Even over Control,
Yeah.
Death Stranding's art design is insane.
Yeah.
Best
And
narrative.
I'm sorry, it's not Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening.
No, not even close.
And dude, don't get me wrong, that's one of my favorite games of all time. Fuck off with it.
Yeah. Best narrative, I would also go with Control.
The
there.
Somnium Files. I'm sorry, that's not on this list either.
Damn, now that I'm putting Control up against Death Stranding a lot, I'm finding I like Control more in a lot of these areas.
See, I didn't play Control, but like that's one of I'm most interested in seeing just because I didn't play Control, but like Death Stranding gripped me more as a viewer than Control did.
Yeah. Well, Death Stranding's narrative is cool, and it's certainly a lot longer. But Control is like it's in your face, just 100% as soon as you get in, which I thought was fun. Best game direction. Now, what is the difference between game direction and art direction or narrative?
Dude, is this just like a new? This is a new fucking category just made so we can call Death Stranding a brand new game genre, and it's the greatest thing ever made.
No, it's definitely like there are game directors that
I know.
definitely do kind of oversee the entire project. But this is an award that Jeff Keighley is going to get on his hands and knees and praise Kojima-san as God.
But does he do it for this one, or does he do it for Game of the Year?
Both.
Oh no, for this one. Because let's be honest here, Smash Brothers is Game of the Year.
I think it should win Game of the Year.
I think it
It's
could,
Game of
but
the
like.
Year.
I think it should
Did
win
it
Game of
cut?
the Year.
Yeah, I guess it
I
came
mean-
out. It came out after last year's, didn't it?
See, the thing with Smash is it's so good, and it's the game that I've played easily the most this year.
And it's easily the biggest crossover in gaming history.
But you put it
No,
up
I
against
definitely think it should be up
Sekiro.
there. Well, that's the shitty part about this list, where it's like, okay, I'm sorry, like Death Stranding, Smash Bros, and Sekiro, I can get down with those. Control, I think sounds really cool. I'm buying into Wayne's ideas that it is an insanely great game.
You got
I
remake.
still think it's incredibly niche. Outer Worlds was.
I think
It was-
Outer
it
Worlds
was-
is way more niche than Control.
I don't, because I think it's more of an RPG. Everyone likes Bethesda bullshit. That style of RPG, a lot of people do. But it was fine. Like that. Like
It was fine.
The-
It would
the
have been
outer-
awesome like 5 years ago. I mean,
exactly.
Resident
Like
Evil.
the Outer Worlds is like the way it ended up coming out and playing was like, this is like your best definition B movie. You know what I mean? Like it should not be on a Game of the Year list.
No, not even close.
That's like putting Borderlands 3 on it, where it was like, cool, this is more of the same that we really like. There was nothing really that great
But shout
about
out
it.
to them for getting nominated. That's pretty cool. Even getting
True.
nominated is cool.
Get the fuck out of here with Resident Evil 2.
No, stop this. The Resident Evil 2 is so dope. You gotta
Yeah,
play
dude, it was
You
the
gotta
best
play
game
it.
in 1992. I entirely agree that
No,
it should have won then.
It's different. They made it complete. It's a different game. It's a completely different game.
No, it's really not.
You just the only same similarity is you play
If you
as
want to
Leon.
give best art to a remake, okay, that's the discussion we can have. You want to say a fucking game that is as old as I am
No.
is game of the year?
It's not.
No.
It's not. It's completely different. It's completely new. And
Is
it's
it-
fucking good. Yeah.
Is it really?
It is. It's
Is it really 100% new?
It's 100%.
You don't do the same exact thing that you did in the original game, the same exact order.
No, it's different. I'm telling you, it's different. And it's really good. And it's really fucking good. All right, all right. Let's. Do you have to get
But
out
yeah,
right now?
So Smash Bros. Game of the Year still.
Is that your
I
game of the
can
year?
see that, yeah.
Is
My
that
game
your-
of the year.
All right.
Calling
What,
it now.
what
It's
do you
game of
think
the
is
year.
gonna win?
Smash Brothers.
You
Honestly, I could see Smash Bros winning.
I
yeah.
really think Smash
it's
Brothers is gonna win.
I really think it's between the three I said. Death Stranding, Smash, and Sekiro. Out of those, the most likely Sekiro is probably third, and then for me, it's really a coin flip of it's Jeff Keighley.
He's gonna come out and be like, the fans voted for
Yeah, I would probably give it
Super
to
Smash Brothers, but I'm gonna give it to Kojima.
I would want to see it go to Sekiro or Smash easily those two. I would be surprised if Control won it, but I definitely I mean, they all deserve to be on the list except
I will say
Outer
this.
Worlds. I would say.
I will say this for Sekiro. I haven't played it. I've heard so many good things, and please Black Friday have some good deals because I want to pick it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you should be able.
No,
to get
like I think Smash should. The biggest reason I think Smash should win to me is it's the only game on here that isn't actually a niche or a remake.
it. Yeah.
It was a great year for niche gaming, but like Souls game, you could argue that's a niche. RPGs, that's kind of a niche. It's a little bit more accepted, I think. Control is definitely niche. Death Stranding's really divisive and niche. RE2 everyone likes, but it's from 1992. It's Smash.
No, it's not. It's a new game. It's a new game. Yeah, I agree though. But Smash also deserves it too. It is so good. It's so addicting. It's just I'm so torn between that and Sekiro because I love Sekiro so much. I can't wait. I can't wait to see what wins, and whoever wins it, they deserve it. Except the Outer Worlds. Good job being nominated. If you win it, then it's a fluke. You guys got lucky for sure. All right.
And that's me coming from me, where like that's one of my favorite genres.
Me
I
too.
like that genre.
Me too. I loved it
But
5
it's-
years ago.
Yeah, like it's like it felt like New Vegas.
Yeah.
It felt like New Vegas Part 2. I loved it. That's not Game of the Year.
Now, if you guys win and you get a shitload of money to make another one, then the pressure's on. I won't be as nice. You know what I'm saying?
True.
All right, let's go real quick to the MacBook and then we'll get out of here. By the way, go check out The Mandalorian. I've been watching it. It's fucking dope. If you have the Disney thing. I don't think you need it though. You can torrent that shit somewhere. So the MacBook Pro 16 came out. To me, it is a subtle upgrade from last year's, but it's a much needed upgrade. And everything that I've been hearing, people have been really happy with it. And
Dude, they made it so it actually performs really well, especially for the price, and it has a fucking workable keyboard.
yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing about this is the price stayed the same since last year. You can now get the base model with the best graphics, which is new.
And AMD gave them the good graphics first. That's something that's really big. Is a lot of us have been waiting because that is the same series as the 57 series desktop cards, just the mobile versions. Everyone's been waiting for the desktop versions of the 53, 55 because that's the new 580 basically. That's better than a 580. That's a 1660, 1650 like range. It's a good. It's looking like a really good card.
Yeah, imagine it like a 1660, a little bit better though from the.
But I would. Now is that I wouldn't expect it to be better than the desktop one, but
better
mobile
in
one.
terms of like rendering and stuff like that. I don't gaming probably not, but
okay, yeah.
At least from
I could see that. Like, but that's what helps really push it over the top to me is you have a keyboard that's actually a real keyboard, and then they fucking beef the shit out of it. Like it's a good buy right now. I'm not gonna buy one. But if I was using my laptop for everything, I would buy one.
Yeah, it's still expensive. It's still not a cheap laptop. But now you can get a 16-inch. I mean, I don't know why they call it a 16-inch. It is 15 inches. It's just a 16.
It's in the 15-inch body. It's a 16-inch screen.
Yeah. Yeah, you get the 15-inch. You can get it. You can basically get like a decked out version with the i9 in it. Top tier graphics. It starts at 512 gigabyte SSD and it's under $3,000. I mean, that's a pretty nice machine.
It does go down to a 1080p screen, but it's ultra wide screen at least, so it still has a good pixel density that you're not going to care.
Yeah, it's got the same like Retina screen. You get the 100% P3 gamut. My version I would probably get would be the 2.3. Where is it? The 2.3 version, 2.3 i9. With 32 gigs of RAM, the top tier graphics, 1 terabyte SSD. It's coming in at 3,300. It's pushing the bank. But you trade the laptop in. I have an almost 3-year-old laptop now. They'll still give me like $1,000 for it. Brings it down to $2,000. That's not too bad of a buy.
It's still pricey, but like no, it's a lot more reasonable, and it's more like a lot of it's. I gotta give them props. They worked with AMD. They got the new graphics chips before anyone else. And this is way more fucking compelling. This is an actual graphics card. This isn't the Vega thing where it's like
It's an
APU. We just took the guts out of our APU line and called it a graphics card.
Right.
Which was a big upgrade for the time versus like Iris Pro, But like this is an actual graphics card. Yeah. Got to give them props for actually doing that. That's a huge upgrade.
And they're going to be coming out with an update coming out when the Mac Pro drops in December, which they're also doing another event. And this update should integrate Metal into these new graphics cards a lot better. So you're going to get even better performance with rendering, with Final Cut, Blender, Premiere, all that stuff. So Apple is really positioning themselves to finally take back that prosumer situation, dropping the Mac Pro, dropping a laptop that pros want to use now. I still fucking wish that they would put an SD card reader in the machine, but nonetheless, I am happy that they still keep, the 4 Thunderbolt 3s. And you start out with 512 gigabytes of storage, or if you move up, you start out with 1 terabyte. It's a pretty nice option, pretty good value. I don't know if I'm going to get it yet. I'm still torn.
I'm going to wait personally because I don't use a laptop as my main computer. I use desktops.
Same.
But this has me very, very hopeful. And I've been seeing a lot of rumors for the 13-inch being refreshed, possibly a 14-inch in the spring. And it's been almost completely confirmed that the 13-inch is going back to the old real good keyboard that I like. That's my sweet spot. Yeah. That's probably what I'd buy.
Now imagine this, 13-inch i7 6-core with one of these new AMD graphics options.
Like the 53, like it doesn't have to be the super top of the line, but it's really good. About $2,000. That's really fucking hard to beat.
You get the nice P3 gamut, 100%. You get an excellent microphone that's in here. You get the best in class speakers. You get the best, in my opinion, the best trackpad. You get
now going back to the best keyboard, in my opinion.
You get a great operating system. macOS is excellent.
And you then have the power that you can go into Windows and play games with it if you want to.
Yeah.
Like that's, and it's at a size I actually want. I'm hopeful, dude. Fingers crossed, because that's really compelling.
And then also another thing people don't realize, when you go into Apple, you don't have to deal with Adobe. So you don't have to pay that monthly fee. You can get Final Cut, which is a one-time payment. You can get Affinity. I mean, they have actual options for creative suites.
I want to count Infinity there, but yes,
whatever the Photoshop Mac.
I love it. No,
is.
I love Infinity. Infinity's great. I'm just saying I want to count Affinity, that you can buy Affinity on anything. That's my point, I guess.
Yeah.
Like Affinity isn't just a Mac thing. I've used it on both forever because it's actually really fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
Final Cut though, that's really intriguing.
Yeah. Final Cut, Logic, all those like Apple things. You get into that whole ecosystem. I'm very, very. Oh yeah, the T thing, which we were talking about in chat. I didn't realize that was a big ask for people, but I guess it was. Having that space with the left and right arrow keys, that was a very requested option. I'm excited. Well, am I gonna get this one? I don't know. It's still expensive.
They're going back to the keyboard. I like that. Makes it way more of a legit honest buy to me.
Yeah,
I'm much more interested. Like,
it's like, do I get this or do I
16-inch seems really cool, and I really like it. It's just too big. It's bigger than what I want. And now that the rumors are saying yes, they're going to update the 13, 14. If they honestly, if they come out with a 14, buying it in a heartbeat.
Yeah, that's the thing.
The 14 was always the perfect fucking size. I'm like,
it'll be like a 14-inch screen in a 13-inch body, which is
that would be perfect for me. That would be that's like the ideal sweet spot for me. Has always been 14-inch screens.
Mm-hmm.
You actually get that into a 13-inch body, and if you can put in one of the lower end graphics cards, but still pump it up like 32 gigs of RAM and an i7 and a decent amount of storage.
That's what I would probably get. Or
because I would much rather have that portability for me than a little bit more power that I don't need because I have a desktop and a server.
Or you spend $10,000 and you get a Mac Pro and an XDR display.
Yeah, I don't. But that's just me.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna spend that much on a rendering rig that doesn't have CUDA cores.
But you don't have Sony Entertainment paying your bills. All right, that's it for the show. We'll catch you guys next week. We got to get out of here. We did a pretty long show today.